Tobacco use in sexual gender minority populations and the health behavior theories. This is a presentation by Johanna Polk for Purdue University. Who are sexual gender minorities? Sexual gender minorities are classified as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer individuals, and this population is also known as the LGBTQ population. What is considered tobacco use? For this presentation, we consider tobacco use to be cigarettes, smokeless tobacco or snuff or dip, pipes, hookah pipes, cigars, cigarillos, biddies, or also known as clove cigarettes or spice cigarettes. E-cigarettes are also known as electronic cigarettes or vaping pens. Here we have an example of each of these types of tobacco products. Risk factors for SGM and tobacco use. Minority stress, which refers to chronically high levels of stress faced by members of a stigmatized minority group. Discrimination, victimization, harassment, mental health, other substance abuse, targeted marketing by the tobacco industry, frequenting bars and nightclubs, higher rates of personal stress, alcohol use, and low socioeconomic status. Risk and protective factors for tobacco use in this population. For the domain of the community, the risk factors are discrimination, victimization, and harassment. The protective factors are opportunities for social involvement and social standing. For the domain of the family, risk factors include family conflict, unacceptance from family, and parental detachment. Protective factors include attachment and bonding with family members and recognition in social involvement. For the domain of school, the risk and factors include low commitment to school and low performance in school. The protective factors include social involvement in school and recognition in social involvement. For the peer individual domain, the risk factors include mental health, low self-esteem, and other substance abuse. The protective factors include emotional control, stress coping, and interaction with peers. The health risks caused by tobacco use. This would include lung, oral, and throat cancers, chronic bronchitis, emphysema, heart disease, and increased risk of heart attack, high blood pressure, and increased risk of stroke, cataracts, leukemia, gum disease, and tooth loss, reproduction and fertility issues. This is not an all-encompassing list of the health risk, but an example of some. Tobacco use in the sexual gender minority population. Sexual gender minorities smoke more than the general population. It is estimated that in the United States, approximately 20% of adults smoke. However, adult LGBTQ smoking rates ranged as high as 50%. Sexual gender minority youth continue to smoke cigarettes earlier and more often than heterosexuals. And SGM youth are more likely than both their heterosexual peers and sexual gender minority adults to be current smokers. The trans-theoretical model of change in tobacco use in the SGM population. The trans-theoretical model has been applied to both the adoption of health behaviors such as weight loss and exercise and the cessation of unhealthy behaviors, such as smoking. The trans-theoretical model contains 4 components: the stages of change, processes of change, decisional balance, and self-efficacy. The Last Drag is an intervention that was conducted at the San Francisco LGBTQ Community Center and collected data from the study from August 2005 to January 2010. It conducted a series of 7-week tobacco cessation sessions throughout the years. The data included a readiness to quit smoking based on the stages of change model. The weeks in the study show the different stages as the individuals progress through the study. Weeks 1 and 2 represent the pre-contemplation and contemplation stage and can end here if the individuals do not remain with the study. Week 3 is the action stage, when the individual has made the overt decision to quit using tobacco products. And with the extra sessions, they are using the helping relationship process of change by developing peer support to remain tobacco-free. Weeks 5 through 7 has the individuals working towards the maintenance stage. The conclusion of the study is the Last Drag is one of many needed interventions to reduce health disparities related to tobacco use in the LGBTQ community. Social cognitive theory and tobacco use in the SGM population. Social cognitive theory with self-efficacy has been used to develop tobacco cessation campaigns for the sexual gender minority population. Basic social cognitive theory asserts that self-efficacy plays a central causal role in human behavior. Experimental research from a variety of domains outside of smoking supports this assertion. Self-efficacy was tested to see the results of tobacco cessation and see if self-efficacy influences tobacco cessation. In this study, a 3-session group-based cognitive behavior smoking cessation treatment was provided on each day for a period of 3 weeks. Each session lasted 15 to 20 minutes. Content included managing smoking triggers, coping with high-risk situations. Self-efficacy was measured on days 1 and 6 using a short-form questionnaire, which assesses self-efficacy to keep from smoking in diverse circumstances. The goal of this study was to test whether self-efficacy influences initial smoking cessation using an experimental design. In Bandura's social cognitive theory, self-efficacy and outcome expectancies are distinct, but work together to regulate behavior. Social learning theory and tobacco use in the SGM population. The American Lung Association indicated that social behavioral issues that perpetuate the initiation and continuation of smoking warranted further investigation. The purpose of this study was to examine tobacco use in the LGBTQ community in Atlanta, Georgia, within a social learning framework. The research questions guiding the study is: what are the primary factors that lead to high smoking rates in LGBTQ Atlantans? A mixed method study was conducted to explore circumstances in which the LGBTQ community might lead to tobacco use cessation. The study included focus groups, surveys, an environmental scan, and a structured community meeting. This project fully engaged the LGBTQ community members with a research team and community advisory board. The study employed the social learning theory proposed by Albert Bandura. 3 themes were constructed from the various points of data from this study. family influences, impression management, and solidarity. Like many in the heterosexual community, LGBTQ participants cited family influence as a factor in their decision to smoke. Many noted that their parents had smoked or other family members that smoked. Many of the former smokers noted that smoking behavior was modeled to them as children, and this served as affirmation that smoking was an acceptable behavior. The second theme identified in the study was impression management. Impression management is defined as an activity of controlling information in order to steer others' opinions in the service of personal or social goals. The third theme identified was solidarity. Smoking was an avenue to connect with other members of the LGBTQ social community. This ability to identify and be accepted as part of the culture created a sense of being of something bigger than oneself. Social learning theory provides an appropriate lens for understanding the importance of family influences, impression management, and solidarity on the smoking behaviors of the LGBTQ community members. Tobacco cessation and social media campaigns. Research has shown effective tobacco cessation programs in the SGM group with the use of social media campaigns. A social branding campaign targeting LGBTQ plus young adults, Crush, was associated with subsequent lower odds of smoking among those who understood the campaign's smoke-free lifestyle message. During a 30-day acceptability study, participants provided their responses to 90 Facebook posts and gave feedback on the design and content of the post. Then they completed a follow-up survey regarding their perceptions of the intervention. The Put It Out Project, POP, intervention was adapted from the Tobacco Status Project, TSP, a smoking cessation intervention for young adult smokers delivered entirely on Facebook. Participants in the Tobacco Status Project were assigned to private Facebook groups tailored to their readiness to quit smoking. Intervention content consisted of daily Facebook posts on which participants were encouraged to comment on, and weekly counseling sessions in which participants could chat with a trained smoking cessation counselor. The results of this study have implications for designing SGM-tailored and social media-based smoking cessation interventions. Overall, the intervention content was well received and successful in engaging SGM young adults in a smoking cessation intervention delivered on Facebook. Focus groups were extremely effective as a medium to generate rich qualitative data and were easily administered entirely through Facebook with this population. Smoking cessation groups are likely to be easily delivered through social media as well. According to research, tailored smoking cessation interventions for young LGBTQ smokers show promise. LGBTQ plus young adults in focus groups informing smoking cessation smartphone app development expressed attraction to the social benefits of a group that was LGBTQ friendly. It was concluded that the social media holds promise for reaching LGBTQ young adults who use tobacco. The research has shown that the cessation programs in the past do not have the success outcomes this population of tobacco users. New ideas for tobacco prevention and cessation programs need to be utilized with the input of these minorities. Using social media platforms such as Facebook to host tobacco cessation campaigns in the SGM community are showing promise. Social media campaigns as a platform for tobacco cessation programs should be further researched and utilized to help the SGM community to stop using or prevent them from using tobacco products.